validation from their partners, but then they flip it and act like their partner is the needy one. I mused when Tanner started talking about his ex. Like, imagine being so insecure that you literally stalk someone, but then you convince yourself they're the problem. The room was getting quieter, the laughter less frequent. Even Bryce seemed to be listening more carefully to what I was saying, but Callum, bless his heart, couldn't leave well enough alone. He had to keep digging his own grave. Some girls just can't handle when guys have boundaries, he announced, clearly trying to regain control of the conversation. They turn everything into drama because they're addicted to chaos. It's actually pretty sad. That's when I knew he'd given me the perfect opening. I looked around the room at his friends, these guys who thought they knew him so well, and I smiled. You're absolutely right, Callum. Some people really are addicted to drama. Want to see what that actually looks like? The silence that followed was electric. I could practically feel the shift in the room's energy as everyone leaned in slightly, curiosity overriding their previous smugness. Callum's face went through this fascinating transformation, confusion, morphing into the first flickers of panic as he realized something was happening that he couldn't control. What are you talking about? He asked, and I could hear that forced casualness in his voice. The same tone he used when he was trying to cover up something done wrong. I held up my phone, and the screen illuminated my face like I was about to tell a ghost story. Well, since we are all sharing stories about crazy relationship behavior, I thought I'd contribute some of my own experiences. My voice was steady, almost conversational. But there was steel underneath it. That made Knox sit up straighter. I started with something relatively mild, reading from my screenshots in the same tone you'd use to discuss the weather. Here's one from last month. Roxy, you said you'd call me after work and it's been 3 hours. This is really hurtful. I can't focus on anything when you ignore me like this. I looked up at the group who were listening with growing attention. That was sent at 6:47 p.m. on a Wednesday. I got off work at 6:15 and was stuck in traffic. Bryce shifted uncomfortably, but I could see he was still trying to process what was happening. Callum forced out a laugh. Come on, that's not the same thing. I was just but wait, I interrupted, smoothly scrolling down. Here's the follow-up message sent 12 minutes later. I know you're mad at me about something, but this silent treatment is cruel. Just tell me what I did wrong so I can fix it. I paused for effect, followed by, are you trying to punish me? Because this feels like punishment. The laughter had died completely. Now Tanner was staring at Callum with this expression I'd never seen before, like he was seeing his friend for the first time. But I was just getting started, and the adrenaline coursing through my veins felt better than any drug. But my personal favorite I continued finding. The screenshot that still made my skin crawl is from 2 weeks ago when I went to grab coffee with my coworker Madison. Listen to this series sent over the span of 40 minutes. I cleared my throat dramatically. Who's Madison again? You've never mentioned her before. Then why didn't you invite me? Seems weird to exclude your boyfriend, followed by I looked her up on Instagram. She seems like trouble. Knox was staring at Callum now with genuine horror. Dude, you looked up her coworker. But Callum was spiraling, and when he spiraled, he always made it worse. You're taking those completely out of context. You're manipulating, am I? I asked sweetly and kept reading. This one came while I was literally sitting in the coffee shop. I drove by and I don't see your car. Where are you really? And then when I didn't respond because I was having a conversation with another human being, this is so disrespectful. I'm your boyfriend, I deserve to know where you are. The room was dead silent now, except for the distant thump of music from another part of the house. Bryce was looking at Callum like he'd never seen him before. Tanner had actually moved slightly away from him on the couch, but the best part, the absolutely beautiful part, was watching Callum's carefully constructed image crumble in real time. You can't just, those are private. He sputtered, reaching for my phone, but I pulled it back, effortlessly private. I laughed, and it was my turn to sound theatrical. Like how you privately called me psycho in front of all your friends. Like how you privately made up stories about me being clingy and obsessive. I looked around the room at his friends, who were all staring at him with various degrees of disgust and discomfort. Because here's the thing, guys. Every single behavior he just accused me of, I have screenshots of him doing it 10 times worse. That's when Callum completely lost it. "You're insane," he shouted, jumping up from his chair. "This is exactly what I was talking about. You're manipulating them, making me look bad." And there it was, the beautiful, perfect moment when he proved every single thing I just exposed about him. His mask didn't just slip, it shattered completely. Knox actually stood up and moved toward the door. Bryce was shaking his head in disgust. Tanner looked like he wanted to disappear into the couch. "The only thing I'm doing," I said calmly, standing up and gathering my purse, "is showing them who you really are in your own words." I looked around the room one more time at these guys who had been laughing at me 30 minutes ago. "By the way, that story about me being jealous of your co-workers, I have screenshots of him accusing me of flirting with the barista at our regular coffee place, a 60-year-old married man named George." I walked toward the door, feeling lighter with every step, and turned back for my final moment. "Oh, and Callum, I already sent these screenshots to Riley and Morgan from your work and your sister. They were very interested to see how you really treat the women in your life." The last thing I heard as I walked out was Knox saying, "Dude, what the hell is wrong with you?" And Callum screaming something about how I'd ruined everything, but I hadn't ruined anything. I'd simply let the truth speak for itself. And sometimes that's the most beautiful revenge of all.